Yeah, it's a celebrity of himself. It's been like almost every day we're bringing like semi-celebrities now to the show. Please give him a warm welcome. It is none other than the Mamusta, the teacher. It is Waleed Khalid. Good morning.
Good morning.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Excellent. Welcome to the show.
Great to see you here.
Well, we are honored to have you here, Waleed. Thank you so much for coming 30 minutes early.
Thank you so much.
Do you always come this early?
Always punctual.
Why? You're Iraqi, are you not?
Well, yeah, it depends, but it's
How did you become punctual?
roads are unpredictable, so you gotta be ahead of time, and in some occasions you need to be ahead of time and get to know the scenery and how things are, done, and
Wow.
it's being part of getting this beautiful positive vibe of this casual conversation that you do here, and
Waleed,
the positivity that you spread around.
Thank you.
Waleed, I mean, are you always this early for every event?
It's almost, yeah. I got that kind of like inner feeling of trying to be ahead of time, because things are really unpredictable, and I got some occasions in the you know previous time where
We've all had that.
I lost a flight ticket to Washington D.C. for a big conference, and that just like hit me so hard. So I started to learn the lesson and keep up.
Wait. You lost a ticket?
Yeah, well, I booked a ticket to a TESOL, teaching English as a second language conference there, and for some reason I was bombarded by so many assignments and deadlines at my university. So I kind of like lost the sense of time. So I thought of Saturday as Sunday and Sunday as Saturday. I kind of got them mixed. So instead of thinking that the flight is on Sunday, I somewhat missed that for Monday, and then
That was your wake up call.
yeah, that was my wake up call, and then I ended up missing the flight and trying to call the flight agency, and then ended up being compensated with a little bit amount of money, not the same amount that I paid for that ticket from California to DC, but it happened.
So let's try to talk and get to know you here, Waleed. You call yourself, well, I mean, you are known as مدرب اللغة. So like, the teacher language, the language teacher, sorry.
Yeah.
And you've established yourself and helping lots of people in Iraq learning English
Yes.
as a second language, ESL. And how did you end up, doing that? Where did you grow up? Where did you learn English?
Well, honestly, I started up like any person in the south of Iraq. I grew up in a small countryside south of Baghdad.
What's
It's
it
in
called? The
Suburbs.
place?
It's Wasat.
Oh,
Um,
I think this is the first Wassid person we've had in 8 years here in the show.
yeah. Why?
Wow. Okay.
So I ended up like reading lots of novels and stories, and English just inspired me. My dad and my uncles just taught me the basics alphabet.
This was when you were
And
going
there
to the
was-
soul side of
Yes,
Wassid.
yes, but it was my true inspiration to see a person who's bilingual, who speaks two languages or more. I was always fascinated by Terminator, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and these beautiful movies that were at that time very popular. So I started like to master the alphabet of this beautiful language. It's wide spectrum of things you can do with language, especially like saying something bad to one of your bullies in the elementary school, and he doesn't know what that means.
That's the first thing we learn in a new language.
Probably that was one of the key elements that just made me so motivated to learn this language. Probably you share the same feeling here.
You called it beautiful. We'll get to that in a second. But, okay, so you were interested with the language since you were a kid. You went to high
It
school.
just gives you a kind of linguistic armor that just enables you to communicate with so many people, understand the culture of other nations, and that truly inspired me. And that's probably where my true inspiration coming from. And then I ended up settling College of Languages, Baghdad University, for 4 years.
So you left your parents. Your parents left and you went to back,
No,
or did they move
I
with
was
you?
commuting. I was commuting, but I was just working night shifts, and in the morning I go compensate for the amount of time wasted not going to do my homework there. But once you have that kind of inner flame of something that you truly love, it doesn't matter what kind of handouts or manuals you read in language. It's just what the kind of effort that you do there. So I kind of like chose my career early, and then I was, between the field of translation and the field of language teaching. They are kind of like mutually interested in each other, and one of them completes the other. People kind of like confuse translators for being teachers and teachers for being translators, but the truth is, every field has its own discipline and it has its own methodology and philosophy. However, finishing my bachelor degree, I got a scholarship to the United States to pursue my MA, and
Mhm.
I chose teaching, of course.
Where? Which university?
It's Middlebury School of International Studies in California, in Monterey, south of San Francisco.
What year was this?
2009 to 2013.
Okay, so
I
you went.
graduated for 3 years and a few months. But once you go there, they try to equip you with good amount of skills to be an English teacher. So you need to get enough depth and width in the field of language and writing. And once you are in academia, it's different. Like the kind of language, the kind of methodology and philosophy are totally different from reality. You go into the depth of the philosophy of language
You
teaching.
didn't get bored? Did you?
No, it's actually it's like a nuclear reactor, and you just pump up more energy to it. It's my passion, and I found myself, among immigrants teaching them English. People were flowing from the southern borders of the United States, and because I had some application part of my MA degree, I started volunteering teaching them English, and I'll share some of the uh, teaching classes that I had with Mexican immigrants there. And so we started teaching them English. But once you have the passion, you can teach English everywhere. Coming back to Iraq, I thought of English not in terms of lecturing, but in terms of sports and activities. So I called myself, which is a kind of title that's kind of catchy and also engaging and memorable, which is مدرب اللغة. Now, why do we call ourselves مدربين or coaches? It is just because we think of language as doing language, as practicing it, just like you do sport. Language learning is like a muscle. It atrophies with time if you do not give it enough nutrition and give it enough mechanical training. So that's where the conceptualization of training and coaching comes from. If you don't use it, you lose it. So by the course of time, there should be some sustainable practice and some consistency with the kind of information that you get by socializing, by talking to beautiful people like you here, and engaging and sending positive picture of what language is. There's this kind of misconception that just we inherited over the past years that language learning is really difficult and there are so many impediments in front of you. But when it comes to understanding the beauty of this language and every other languages, you understand the structure from different perspective, you would be able to deliver a peaceful message about how language is as a social organism that lives by people and among people. So that's where
what you're doing. But for a lot of people, getting a chance to go study abroad, especially in a country like the United States, they wouldn't want to come back to their home country. But you, after you finished your studies, you decided to come back here and actually benefit your own people by teaching them or coaching them with English language. So why did you decide to do that?
Well, it's part of a vision that I had early before I travel, and that is to build an academy here where we teach English and let people learn this beautiful language in different perspective and have a different conceptualization about this language and how fancy it is to equip yourself with the most common language in the world. Actually, around the world, there are around 196 countries. 64 out of them speak English as their first or second language. So you're equipping yourself with enough tools to communicate with almost half of the globe. In addition to that, it's the language of the internet, it's the language of YouTube, it's the language of Facebook. So you would be able to have so multiple lenses out there. Now, going back to your question, sometimes you need to deliver something back. Once the country grants you this prestigious kind of grant, where you go there, you get the chance to be sponsored and get whatever kind of classes and extracurricular activities, you need to deliver something back. And that's actually my true message here. I started to build an academy, but I found that I was only limited to 10 to 15 people I teach for 8 or 10 weeks. Then I decided to create that online page, and now I am gathering around 250,000 people on my Facebook page. They're following me from all walks of life, from all the countries. I get so many people from the United States, from Michigan, from California, from New York. They're always asking me about their ways of learning language. Some of them are immigrants that are just settling there, but they don't know the parameters on which they depend to move on to the next step in language and to be part of the American society. So it's because just I had that kind of cumulative experience of being there, getting educated as an English teacher, and also being part of the society. I kind of like help them there. And sometimes your teachers inspire you to follow the lead. One of my teachers used to tell me a lot that it's not about what you have, it's about what you give. So giving is the probably motto on which I decided to come back and started spreading the word. On my page, I amassed around 950 videos of language teaching there. But going back to the beginning of the videos, it's really hard to understand what I was saying because the sound quality, the video editing tools, I was not quite ready. But you can see there's some steady progress over there. And I'm trying to make it better, actually, trying to spread the word about the importance and significance of language learning, not only specifically related to English, but to other languages. Whatever language you learn, you're just equipping yourself with a different mind and different mentality and different perception of the world.
So, here in Erbil and in the north, the knowledge of English is pretty okay. There's a good amount of people that know English here.
Especially new generation.
The new generation,
Yeah.
yeah. It's not so much the same with Baghdad, Mosul, and the rest of the Iraq. We are now on air in Baghdad, actually, 6.5. People are listening to us there.
Looking forward to see you there.
Yeah, definitely. But the thing
Be
is
part of the problem.
the English language is still not as popular
Uh-huh.
in those places. How come we haven't seen that advancement until now
Well,
in the rest of Iraq?
there are some socially and political related issues out there when it comes to equipping the teachers with enough tools and equipment to help them deliver the message there. There's well, it's complicated actually, but if you want to look at it from a social perspective, people have just shifted from 2003 to post 2003, and before that there was not enough technology. Like I learned the basics from CDs and cassettes. I was recording on cassettes and listening to that, but then post 2003 there was this kind of leap of technology, so people started to catch up. Actually, people are catching up, especially this generation. You can come across lots of people actually talking English among the youth between the age of 24 and 35. This group of people are the most followed group to my page. They follow me and they ask me so many questions. I get tsunami of messages every day. Like, tell me what the tips are of learning language. How do you recommend me to choose this book or that book? What kind of novel do you suggest? I get so many messages from this age group. Once you are on Facebook page, you kind get the sense of the statistics that is offered by Facebook, and you can see that this age group is really interested. So between 24 and 35, and they're asking lots of questions about language. So people are catching up. But if you look at the previous generation, they didn't get the chance just because they just came from a different era where technology was not there. Their awareness of Facebook and YouTube and the necessity of being a global citizen were very limited and restricted. So that's probably the social interpretation. Let aside the political complications of that story there.
You're optimistic that it will change eventually? We want people in Lhasa to speak English like here.
Definitely. I think my message is to let everybody speak English.
Yeah.
And that message is truly coming from the importance of this language and the importance of having your mind thinking of two ways or two dimensions. Once you start catching up with second language, learning a third and fourth language are very easy. Like I was in Italy in January, and before COVID, of course, and I hadn't the chance to speak with any Italian people for a long time. But when I went there, I started looking at the topography of the city and the kind of words that they use, and I started catching up because I know English you know, learning a third language like Italian becomes very easy to you. Learning French becomes very easy to you because you're just equipping yourself with enough tools to help you. And scientifically speaking, if you speak two or more languages, that is the standard. If you speak one language, that is the irregular, uh, you know, style of people. Like people are normally perceived as standard if they speak two languages or more.
Mm.
Speaking two languages is healthier to your brain alone. Like if somebody is aging, there is very limited chances of getting like the aging disease disorders because if because you speak two or more languages, and that just comes because of the benefit, the advantage that the second language gives you. Also, sometimes, I mean, me personally, like I think of the world and I see the world differently, especially if you're thinking of it in English or Arabic.
I was gonna say that. Yeah,
Ah,
you have different personalities in each
different
language. that
personality,
you
different
speak.
dimensions. You think of the world of two dimensions or three dimensions. You become more logical. You become understanding and tolerant of the ambiguity of other cultures. Like I really think that if somebody speaks one language, they are not as tolerant as people who speak two or more languages. And that's just because of the tolerance of the ambiguity and understanding that people are just because they are different, that does not mean they're wrong or right. They're just thinking and perceiving the world as different. Like what you see as W, maybe they see as an M. But once you have these both dimensions, you would definitely get a very good eagle's eye perspective on that. And that is the beauty of language. Language necessity is part of it. Is like food. It is like sports. You have to do it on a daily basis. You have to maintain it and to sustain it, to feed it with enough practice. And you guys are very lucky. You know, you're spreading the word about English and through English, which is your main tool of delivering the empathy and sympathy and love and peace to people who are listening to you right now and feeling so engaged. Like I've seen you texting so many people here, texting you, waking up in the morning, just trying to catch up and getting a glimpse of hope that you're going to respond back to them. That gives them very positive energy. And if we think of it, the way you're doing this sort of communication is through English, through language. And that is where we deliver the understanding of each other. I think the peaceful, mutual understanding of each other comes from the understanding of language itself.
Let's play one of the videos here that you have. This one is in Arabic. It's interesting. Obviously, a lot of your audience come from different background, but this one targets those who are still learning the language. So
Yeah.
let's check this out.
لا تتعلق بموضوع أنه أني لازم أتحدث اللكنة الأمريكية أو اللكنة البريطانية. حقيقة هذا الشيء مو مهم جدا. هذا يجي سايد سالاد supplementary. احنا الفكرة إيصال القصد عن طريق اللغة. دائما احنا نسأل أنت ايش تقصد؟ What do you mean؟ لأن القصد أهم من اللكنة تحديدا. هذا يحتاج الشخص اللي مختص بدراسات الماجستير والدكتوراه يتعمق بها بدراسات علم اللغة الاجتماعي أو علم الاجتماع اللغوي sociolinguistics. هذه التوزيع الجغرافي للهجات يعني جميل جدا واحد يتعرف عليه إذا دخل بهذا التخصص. لكن احنا بصورة عامة الشخص إذا ما عنده أول 3000 مفردة في اللغة الإنجليزية ليش يركز على الأكسنت؟ تحدثت بالأكسنت الأمريكي أو البريطاني وأني كلماتي ضعيفة جدا، قواعدي ضعيفة جدا، راح تفيدني؟ لا، كل الاختبارات على مستوى العالم ما يخلون اكسنت ضمن المعايير مالتهم، اغلبها توفل، ايلتس، الاختبارات المعيارية البريطانية، جامعة كامبريدج، ما يخلون اكسنت إلها اي اهمية معايير التقييم. عندك مثلا اختبار ايلتس يركزون على grammar, grammatical range and accuracy، يركزون على task achievement or task completion. هذه المسائل الأساسية يركزون عليها.
So you talk about a topic. You talk about a topic that we actually know a lot, and that is people here always tell us, "Oh, what language do you speak, British or American?" When it's not, but we know we hear a lot of Iraqi people making that differentiation.
Yeah.
They get worried, they get nervous. Oh my God, I only know this part, no, I don't know that part. But of course, it's not that important. It doesn't matter.
I mean,
it's just
technically speaking, this is what we call the stratification of dialects, and it's really misconception out there. Like when you study dialects, when you study dialectology, you understand that all of them are perceived in linear, horizontal. There is no dialect or accent that is superior or better than the other. Just because people lived up until 2003 thinking that British dialect and British accent is superior, it is the origin of language, it is how people in court in Britain speak, does not mean that there are other dialects. Let's think of for example, the Indian dialect and accents, the British, the Australian, the Canadian, all of them speak with different hint and
Flavor.
flavor. And that is the beauty. I was like, think about it geographically speaking. Accents and dialects are just geographic indicators of where people are coming from. And when I was in California, people love to listen to British accent, but when you go to Britain, they love to listen to American accent, and that is just because it's different. People ask me when I was there to speak English with Middle Eastern accent because they think of it as different and unique, and that is the uniqueness of it. So accent is not something that can be stigmatized. It is something that indicates where you're coming from and what kind of heritage you bring with you. And it should be perceived that way. So there is no superiority. Don't marginalize American accent because British accent is better. No, that's not true. Just because people are learning English nowadays and they have fed the wrong information, they've been misinformed about the superiority of certain dialects and accents over others, does not mean that's the reality. If you're talking to specialists in the field of linguistics, they are going to deny that completely, that language is not related and it's not restricted to certain accents and certain dialects out there.
You got a big following on Facebook, on YouTube. So what do people got to do to type, to find you, connect with you, and maybe forward you to people who are looking to perfect their language?
Yeah, I think they can just type مدرب اللغة وليد خالد or just مدرب اللغة, and my name is just going to pop up because I think there's a lot of people actually looking for that.
Yeah, type just Walid Khalid and it
Yeah.
comes easily now. Walid
Yeah.
Khalid in English or in Arabic if you write مدرب
Yeah.
اللغة.
Yeah, and if you want to get a kind of chronological order of the videos, because that is not supported by Facebook. Like when you watch Facebook, you go through the timeline. You're not going to see the sequential order of lessons, but if you go to playlist on YouTube, on my channel with the same name, مدرب اللغة وليد خالد, you will find playlists for beginners, for intermediate, for advanced, for specialists, for workshops, for car podcast. And that I've started recently, where you can listen to English while you're driving to work or commuting back from work, where you can benefit from listening to short lessons. I present idiomatic expressions, examples, sayings in English where you can use on a daily basis. And one of them is the nick of time that you just mentioned out there. We just select that and present it with good examples so people can use it, incorporate it in their English. So I've recently made a video about that part, and you gradually start to accumulate enough vocabulary to help you learn language. Statistically speaking, among family members, you only need 400 words. If you want to communicate up to 85% with all native speakers, you only need between 1,000 to 3,000 words. These are the most common words of written and spoken English, and some of them are in the academic field. So if you are interested in writing a paper, research paper, part of your homework, that is the list on the range of the words that
It doesn't
you need.
sound a lot.
Yeah, it's not. So if you count that, and if you say I'm going to learn 25 words divided by 3,000 divided by 25 words, and you spread that on 3 or 4 months, you're going to be 85% native like English speaker. But you just need to learn the basics of how to use it in daily communication and put it in use.
Walid, we wish you the best of luck.
Thank you
It
so
seems
much,
like
Mark.
you have a big fight ahead of you for the next 20, 30, 40, 50 years. You're going to be using all your energy to help this country
Sure.
to learn English as much as possible.
Yeah.
So make sure you tell them to listen to Babylon FM as well. Okay, this is
Definitely.
to learn.
I'll just tag that once you post it there.
Good luck with everything.
you so
We'll
much.
catch you wherever you are. Type Walid Khalid on YouTube, on Facebook, and you can catch him. Good luck. Really.
Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to seeing you in Baghdad soon.
Thank you so much for dedicating your life for this, because we can use an Iraq that is more affluent in English so that everything will become
Thanks
easier.
so much. Thank you so much for your hospitality.
All right.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Walid.